faded at the end. It's so slow, but hello everybody, welcome
back.
back. Do you want cards to watch? Now we're gonna chat through the
We're gonna just quickly chat through some of
the meta breakdown. So if anyone's interested in what heroes are at the tournament today, Simon is gonna hit you up with the top 5 and more. So
I'm a little bit surprised at the tail end of the top 5.
Oh well, there's spoilers, but there we go.
No, it's good to have the visual representation. I must admit, I'm not surprised it's Lexi number 1. It's about 15% of the field today. Dramai number 2 doesn't surprise me either. I think those were the big 2 we expected to have. What does surprise me is Bravo at 44 and Briar at 40.
I'm not surprised by Bravo. I thought Bravo would be up there, but 40 Briar is huge. That is way more than I expected. We did see one in round 1, so that makes sense. And then we do see a bit of a drop off after Levia. I mean, it's you know,
it's
basically,
you know, number 6.
Yeah.
With that many Dramai in the field, I don't think it's going to be a bad day for Katsu. As always, it's going to rely on their pairings as they go through. However, we are seeing some of the new heroes come through. We've got 4 Prism here today and 12 Vincent. People really feeling the Vincent love today.
Oh, yeah, well, 12 is sort of feeling it. If anyone, I see people in the chat saying 23 Brave Warriors. Well, we might have a treat for you if you stick around for game number 2. And yeah, I think this is roundabout what I was expecting to see apart from Briar. I think Briar is wild. I'm very excited to see some more Briar games today, potentially. We'll see how well they do.
As we saw in the first round, though, Levia can really wreck face.
Yes.
It's going to depend on how well-versed those Levia players are. Obviously, Matt Fawkes has put a lot of effort into that deck. So it would be interesting to see how many of those convert later on in the day.
Yeah, and I think the other one to note is that just under Katsu, we do have 23 Icelander. Icelander did very well at the Battle Hardened Rhea, winning both of them with Icelander, doing an amazing job. And we see 21 Viserai as well, 21 Azuri too. Some kind of rogue heroes that can always do well, you know, if they're piloted by a good pilot. Both Azuri and Viserai, I think, are often very good. So looking to see if we see any of them up on the top tables today. We will be looking for some exciting games for you. Try and get some good stuff on here so you guys can watch while you are at home.
We're just going to ask Alan in the studio to make sure that the stream video is visible to us, because we can't really stream a game if we can't see what's going on.
Oh, I see Chunks in the chat. Welcome, Chunks. Big Rhino player. Chunks, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And yeah, like, what do you think so far, Simon, looking at that meta breakdown? Is this a meta you're a Katsu boy? Is this a meta you'd want to play into? Or
So with Katsu today, as I say, I think if you come up against the Dramais and the Bravos, I'd be a happy man.
Yeah.
If I'm coming up against the Lexis and the Levias, less so. I think Levia's a really tricky matchup for Katsu, and it's very tempo dependent. Levia can do a lot with very little, as we saw in the last game.
Yeah.
And it really depends on how she goes. However, we've got a treat for for players now. We've got Dorinthia, Maximilian Klein versus
Who is he?
Jason Rolfe.
Who is Jason Rolfe? Oh, you're about to find out because he's going to be playing on stream, playing as Lexi, Jason Rolfe. And it's I'd say a tricky matchup for Dory, but Dory can get that counter going.
Well,
Who knows
both
what will happen. Both won their first game.
Some more news from round 1 is Pablo Pintor played Matt Rogers in round 1.
Yeah.
And Matt Rogers on Dash took that win away from Pablo Pintor on Bravo. So Pablo automatically going down to 0-1.
But we know what Pablo can do.
We know what he's like on the submarine.
That's what he needs in the morning to get going. Is just one loss, and then he's.
I hear he had a bit of a trouble with his flight over as well. Very much delayed. Bless him. Wishing him the best of luck for the day.
Simon, you have some strong opinions about Lexi. You think it's a trash hero? That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I don't think she converts. I think Lexi is a hero that gets a lot of people playing, does okay in the Swiss, but doesn't necessarily convert. I'm happy to be proved wrong, but she hasn't taken any big events just yet. And I wonder today whether actually Lexi's going to be kept under control by the Bravos, the Dramai, and the Levia that we're seeing out there.
Well, you never know. We're seeing some very confusing sleeves here. We have Dory and the Lexi sleeves, and it looks like we've got Lexi and the Vincent sleeves. But just look at those heroes in the middle, folks. It'll tell you everything you need to know. I'm going to assume Dawnblade, but you never know. Could see some axes, maybe axes.
I mean, you could see some control Dory.
Yeah,
We could see a great axe control Dory.
I'm going to find out when
I'm
those cards
assuming
go
we're going to see
down.
Voltaire on the Lexi side.
I
I
think
don't
we
think anyone's
are.
playing Shiver yet.
Jason Rolfe is a local player to my local London scene. We just saw a double five, everyone. That's why you odds and evens it. And yes, look at that majestic headwear. Jason Rolfe sporting an incredible hat. We are big fans of hats on Push the Point, but man, that's a big one. IRL Crown and Dominion. Yeah, thank you for the close-up. Look at that. Incredible.
He looks like he's keeping warm today.
He looks like he's going hiking.
Yeah. So Jason Rolfe, well known on the local London scene.
Been grinding that XP, working his way to
doing
Worlds.
well, grinding the XP.
Doing well, won his first game. Let's see if he can continue it. But...
Maximilian Klein, I played yesterday in the Shapeshifter Sealed, and he then went on to win the Commoner event yesterday.
Well, clearly a good player. We're going to see how they throw down. We played against a lot of Dory in the early days. We played in Blitz on the online, back in the online times of Flesh and Blood before while we were all locked away in our houses. And Dory can be a tricky one if you don't know what you're doing. Can really capitalize on mistakes or bad blocking. But I do feel that Alexi has such a high damage output, will be able to capitalize on that. But one thing that we pointed out in our what we thought the meta of the Calling Birmingham would be like is that we noted that Lexi does not really have much equipment to block with.
No.
And that can be a real problem when you're coming up against Dory and just wanting to sort of protect against a few on-hits or work around reprise.
So I absolutely agree, Trip. We've got Lexi unable to mitigate those reprise effects with equipment. It really, though, depends on what type of Dorinthia we're seeing. I think we've seen Dawnblade, the standard type of Dorinthia. We've seen people flirt with the Axis Body of Mind. Are we going to see a controlled Dorinthia using the Great Axe, the Dust Till Dawn Great Axe? I'm not sure we're going to see that today. I'm not sure anyone's gonna have broken that just yet. Just being informed that Maximilian was also PT top 8. So
yeah, thank you, Francis. That's a good. Thank you for pointing
if anyone's
that out.
going to do
fantastic player, yeah.
If anyone's going to do it, Maximilian can do it.
What PT was that, Francisco? If you know, we'd love you to.
So players,
to
there we go.
Incredible. I'm so happy.
Very happy. A different Dorinthia we're going to see today with the Great Axe. It might be worth just refreshing for the viewers what that Great Axe actually does. If we can grab that up on screen just as we're starting the game.
Top 8 Baltimore. Yeah, thanks, Shamil. That's the top 8 of Baltimore. Yeah, pretty nice. So PT3 then, right? So
he's carrying his recent good form.
Yeah, coming from Pro
into
Tour 3
event.
into the Calling Birmingham here. Playing a really cool deck with the Decimated Great Axe. There's a cold foil version of that on our hotel.
Yeah, there is. Hamish is rolling with that
Hamish has just picked one up.
So it's cost 3, comes in for 4. And if it's defended by a non-equipment card, the first time this is defended with a non-equipment card each turn, missed out on that. It's disappeared. Give with one hand, take away with the other.
My man, no blocks or gas, just run her over. I think that's going to be the plan. I'm sure this Dory player has thought about this Lexi matchup. You know, people know that Lexi is big. People know there's a lot of Lexi out there, and a Pro Tour top 8 player is gonna have plans. Coming in with the loading.
So Lexi
maybe
just loading up.
Yeah, it could be a load and pass here, but we'll.
Oh, a nice endless arrow to start with. I can't see them playing that out. Risk of it getting blocked. So are we going to see? Oh, that's an Arctic Incarceration in hand there.
Decides to
choosing to end
turn there.
Maybe put that in Arsenal. No, not arsenaling a second card.
Interesting choice.
Well, nothing would go again. So if you put the Arctic Incarceration in
yeah, he's just leaving that there for.
That's interesting. Not sure why you wouldn't play that out and give some frostbites.
I think maybe he just gets the read that the Story player is playing big. Will almost certainly have a few plays to play around that Arctic.
This round's on me from the Dory. A nice start, removing 1 damage from each attack coming from the Lexi next turn. Both players draw a card. Lexi with a 6-card hand is not to be trifled with, though.
Yeah, not at all. And coming in with a nice Warrior's Valor. Great to see these classic cards back in the game.
Oh, nice. So Warrior's Valor into the Axe. If that's a red Warrior's Valor, that's 7. Go again on hit. Yep. Yellow Warrior's Valor. So we've got 6 go again. on hit.
Yep, forces him to use snap. Indeed, if he does put it down there, good call, McGregor's. Getting a read on the card. I'd do the same. It's a new card.
It's a new card, not necessarily in
People might mock it, but you want to know what your opponent's doing.
Absolutely.
Don't make any mistakes. You want to you don't want to find out what the card does when it's ruining your day. So having a little thing, but yeah, 5 cards for Lexi. You know, the this round's on me really good, but obviously it's best when played on turn 1 going first, but still.
And this
still
axe
doing work.
reduces the defense of the card of the first non-equipment card that comes up against it. So it halves it and rounds it up. So if it's a 3 defense card, it's going to be blocking for 2. It's a really hard break. Even 6 is a really hard break point there. It's a 3 card block if you want to stop that go again.
I think the people are with Jason purely because of his hat, but we're gonna see. He knows that he's playing Lexi, so he's got to do something to get back in people's favors, and he's chosen to dress phenomenally instead. Taking his time, probably gonna think about doing a little block here, but there's a little bit of glare on the on Jason's equipment. I'm getting. You know,
I think we can assume it's
New
tunic,
Horizons.
toxic tips.
I assume toxic tips. We can get the studio to. Might even throw out the toxic tips now. We're about to find out.
There we go.
Oh,
Toxic
Hornet's
tip.
Nest.
Hornets.
Hornet's
So
Sting,
block 1.
sorry.
Yeah. And I'm assuming the leg piece is scabs.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? That was last round. Snaps.
Snaps. Sorry, I thought you said snaps. So that is fine. Committing that equipment block quite early. But trying to prevent the.
It did
go
prevent
again,
the go again.
which is fair.
With Dorinthia, you never know what's coming. If you block poorly.
There's no dawn blade, so it doesn't need to use equipment to like reset that at any point. So I think fair enough if you want to get it out of the way. And we're just going to see some loading of arrows here. It's a really interesting matchup. Just get this kind of like, I guess it's more control. Well, we're going to see it. We're really going to see how Maximilian plays it, but you assume more control. The big axe that does, you know, you see a 3 cost attack for 4.
I think we're going to see a lot of blocking.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be. I don't know whether we're looking at a particularly fatigue end point, but when I came up against Maximilian in the Shapeshifter Seal yesterday, he was playing Fatigue Prism. So he has the patience to play that game. We're seeing the first Fate for Scene already. I'm going to assume he's got 3 of those, 3 sinks. I think we can see another sink in his hand there.
I'm seeing some axe tech in hand as well.
And there we see the Arctic Incarceration.
Yeah, I quite like that for Jason. Like
for 3 Frostbites.
Just get it out.
It's
like
good.
even if he doesn't think it's going to have a huge impact, just put a little disruption on. You never know what the opponent's got as well. Like attacks of 3 is good. Like,
well, he kept it in his hand from last turn, from the first turn, and I think he may have regretted that, having the axe and the Warrior's Valor come in.
So we're hearing from the studio that it will be 7 rounds today. It will either be a top 64 or X and 2, depending on depending on the TO.
Numbers, yeah.
Depending on the numbers. So 7 rounds today and 5 rounds tomorrow. So it's going to be a long day today, but
we're looking forward to it. I think this is the first time we've done an in-person casting effort. And actually, I'm enjoying it already.
We've casted Polish nationals. We did a bit of casting. I actually casted, did a bit of co-casting of French nationals with Finbar.
We also did the Battle Hardened Ruhr.
Yeah, so
but these have all been virtual, like sitting at home.
It's great to be here in person in your
own
room,
office.
And the atmosphere in the hall is fantastic. We had a really fun day yesterday with the side events and the Shapeshifter Sealed and everything, and a huge thanks to everyone who took part in that event, got themselves a push point goodie bag.
A bit of an awkward hand there for Maximilian. Pitch 3 reds to get the great axe out.
Yeah, really got the maybe just thinking about maybe setting something up there.
Maybe a bit of a pitch stack
using
coming.
that opportunity of like, okay, I've got these frostbites to play through. Maybe I can set myself up some good cards. I assume he's going to try and play for the second cycle. Depends on how aggressive the Lexi is going to be, but clearly would like it to go that way.
Lexi loading another arrow. Looks like 2 Bolton shots in hand and a sleep dart.
Jason does seem to have quite a few ice cards in the deck. You know, I know a lot of Lexis are, running the ice, running the Arctics, running the Winter Spites. Thinking about what he wants to load here.
Oh, it's a drill shot, sorry, not a sleep dart. So we've got drill shot with go again. I'm assuming that's a red for go again. And I mean, this is important for Dory because she does have a lot of equipment.
Yeah, this is going to eat for the equipment. Thank you, guys. The best way to support is just to watch. Generally,
Watch the stream.
We don't need any additional support.
Pop a
just
like
join us
and
for the day.
subscribe on Tabletop 24. Like and subscribe on Push the Point channel. Go and check out our videos.
The best thing you can do is just to watch a few games with us. To be honest, that's what we would like. Oh, I see. Oh, lovely.
Nice sink below there.
Yeah, just doing the we're seeing some really good way. I'm starting to really think that Maximilian has thought about how do I beat Lexi.
He has.
And I like that. I saw someone in the chat, I think Nick Butcher was saying, pretty bad game into Drumeye, but it is an interesting shout. Maybe he's got a plan for Drumeye, but feels like
I wouldn't put it past him. We've only got 12 Dories on the meta today, but this seriously looks like it could be.
I did think there was a lot more Drumeye than I was expecting, but I think people have picked it up, and I think what I always forget with Drumeye is that a lot of people run the red line.
The Empress red line.
Yeah, and that's quite an effective deck to play. Seeing the antlers coming out, let's see. So secure the block, but he's got the equipment here to.
Is that a last ditch effort? And using the equipment block off the refraction bolters. I like that. That's a fully blocked out turn. He's still got one card in hand. Is he going to Arsenal or is he going to Great Axe for 4? Arsenal pass. We could be looking at a fatigue strategy here.
Warmongers would be pretty good here.
I think Trip's going to say that at least once per game today.
I noticed that Jason's not running the trench, so and it feels like this story has got the space for Warmongers easily in their deck, just to blue the blocks well.
He's going to get something stuck in Arsenal at some point, isn't he?
Yeah.
Look at that. That hat is just majestic.
It is majestic. Like we all want to. We're learning a lot about Jason.
Strong beard game from Jason today as well.
Premeditate in Lexi. This is not maybe not quite what I would be expecting from
really?
Lexi.
You've not. Premeditate is definitely a Lexi card.
Yeah, I guess I premeditate is pretty good.
It gives you a ponder. It's fantastic.
I'm just an aggro player. I just want to play arrows.
Yes, you do, but that doesn't work.
Yeah. But it is turning on the bolt and shot, and I guess actually like making sure you have the buffs for the bolt and shot is even more important because now you don't have access to the OG arm for range that allows you to +1 and turn on bolt and shot. Bullseye braces, exactly. So making sure you have a few buffs is valuable and important.
Oh, nice. So we're seeing the shunt come out here. That is effectively a 3-card block, however. Still 3 cards in hand with the Lexi. Just touching though, Trip, on something you said about the matchups Dory has. It is possible that Maximilian has teched this towards Lexi specifically, trying to counter that meta. However, Lexi only makes up 15% of the meta today, so it's quite an even spread across the board.
Double shunt here. I agree, Simon. I think it's risky, but 60 legacies, right? Like, could happen. Can't see the hat.
I think he's having you on, Trip. I think he's making a joke.
You can't see it's right there. Sarcasm.
Who's Jason Rolfe?
Sarcasm doesn't work over the internet, Sweeney. We see the codex here, which is nice. Did manage to get a endless arrow into, but it's going to take. We're going to take the blood rock. Interesting. Got the resources for it, so that makes sense. I thought the steel blade shunts were kind of interesting against Lexi. It's probably a deck thing. Obviously, Lexi is not swinging any weapons, so we're never going to get that 1 damage. There is a Simon in the commentator. Yeah, we got Simon in chat, Simon in the commentator. So we've got a load of people with us here today.
Simon Says.
No, we're not playing Simon Says. Can play Simon Says for chat.
Yeah.
Simon Says. No.
So we're coming in for 5. Coming in for 5 with the infecting shot. I don't know. I think Maximilian's just going to have to take this unless he's got a shunt in Arsenal.
Well, this is sort of representing.
There we go. There's a shunt in Arsenal. Stop the 5. Don't take 7 damage.
I think it's a
blue stops 5.
Yeah, is blue stop 5 or block 4? Don't know off the top of my head. Get shunt on the phone. I assume he didn't take any damage, so I'm assuming he has it covered. No, he didn't. I was right. He's got the bloodroot box.
All right, okay, took 1 damage.
I played enough. Making me doubt myself now. I played enough Dory. I know what blue steel blade shunt does. You should. If you kept playing Ira, you know too.
I probably know, yeah.
Thank you, Shamir. Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't hit for
Stocks
1
4.
against no weapon. No.
Thank you, everyone in the chat. Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's just because you've seen the red ones and the we haven't seen the yellows yet, but
This is probably going to be the pattern of the game now. We're just seeing block, block, block.
well, Jason's playing this. Yeah, but yeah, Jason's playing this. You know, really, he's not going crazy. He knows, he can see what the Dory is doing. He can see that the Dory is playing a more controlling game, and he's not going to necessarily play into that. He's going to think, well, my opponent's probably not got as much damage output as they might do because they're playing a more controlling game.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my time. I'm going to make sure I play 2 big explosive turns. Maybe thinking about getting a 3 of a kind or rain razors before they do anything crazy with their turns, but just putting out good damage, just forcing some blocks, just getting a little bit chip damage through. We will see the tempo shift at some point because one of these players is going to have to make a move. It's probably going to be the Lexi. Let's face it.
Lexi's going to keep pumping out arrows. I'm sure Jason has a handle on the number of arrows in his deck, and he's going to be able to work out when he needs to put the foot down. I think without the bullseye braces, it's a really tricky tempo turn without the 3 of a kind, but you're going to need to set up that 3 of a kind rain razor's turn to try and push that damage through. A question in the chat about a cold fall. Is that a cold fall tunic? I mean, it looks like it could be. It wouldn't surprise me. I think Maximilian's been in the game a while. It's signed as well. James White's signature. That's some bling.
That's some real bling. Maximilian's so quick with these blocks, really getting them down.
As you said, there's some nice axe tech in there.
Yeah.
I think Maximilian knows this game plan. I think he's just going to block, block, block. He knows what's coming.
Jason played the second codex of the game now, so forced a couple of blocks there. He's doing a good job of like hiding the codex because he probably wants to get the relevant on hits.
He's gone to get that infecting shot again. But while the codex is on the table there, Trip, what do you think about it now? There was a lot of talk about the codex when it first came out as a busted card, but we haven't really heard that much about it.
I still think it's pretty good. I think the bullseye braces. The bullseye braces was a good hit, an interesting hit for Lexi. And I think has toned her down a little bit. I still think Codex of Frailty is a very, very strong card. It feels like a card that maybe was designed around Azalea and maybe Riptides, but does have really good game in Lexi. But it just allows Lexi to be a little bit slower, to keep to have a 1-card turn. Oh, for a couple of beers, guys.
That's
Look at this lovely donation,
Look at that.
Francis. We'll get that money off Tabletop 24. He's paying for the next round.
Well, that's sharing. That's sharing the team love. That will go towards the team. Thank you.
That will go towards the team. The goat, indeed, the real goat. Yeah. Got distracted by being.
I know. I've never. I don't know what to say. It's very humbling. Thank you,
Francis. Is incredible.
So again, Maximilian's blocked out, drawn up. We see Jason with what looks like a rain razors in hand. Has he got the 3 of a kind to go with it? I think he has. So we're going to see the rain razors played out and 3 of a kind. We don't have. Yeah. So rain razors. Yeah, there's the 3 of a kind. Nice foil, 3 of a kind. We like it. 2 codexes down already on the Lexi side. That's the first rain razors and the first 3 of a kind we've seen.
Here we go, boys.
Is this going to be the turn? Is this going to be a pivotal turn? I don't think it's the right time. I don't think we've got.
Simon Denning, are you saying it's not the right time for rain razors?
Of course it is. He's got the hand.
It is always the right time. You gotta be doing it. You
it's
see
just
that? You gotta play it. Okay. I love it. We'll see what going. Yeah. Oh, and we see a nice the zero
Falcon
cost
wing.
here, Falcon Wing.
Coming in for
has go again.
Plus we put it has
as
go
default aim counter.
Giving it +1,
so
giving it +2 from the rain razors.
So a really nice card to have on a rain. This is a great turn for Lexi. This is exactly what they want.
No on hit effect. So Maximilian's just going to let this slide.
Simon, it has the best on hit effect, which is damage. Well, it's just what you want. You want nice natural go again cards on your big pop off turn, and we're gonna see. We'll see whether Jason. What I think Jason shouldn't do here is I don't think Jason should commit the snaps. I think Jason needs to keep that maybe to go over the top later in the game, and play to the next Rain Raisers.
I think we're gonna see that with a Sleep Dart come out with go again. He's using the Tunic to pay for it. So Sleep Dart for 7 with go again. And then I assume we're going to play out the Searing Shot because we've got no more ability to load the Voltaire now.
Second Raisers in hand, yeah.
Paying for the quiver. Here we go. Oh, Heat Seeker off the top.
Is that off the quiver?
Yeah.
Did you know that was there?
What a hit. What a blind hit. Playing out the Searing, fully blocked. Arsenal.
Yeah, and good. And like we said, don't commit the snaps yet. That was a really good turn. Pushed a lot of damage.
Took 7 damage on that.
And
turn.
I think Jason should be really happy with that. Pushing a ton of damage through a control deck without committing the snaps. That is fan-flipping-tastic.
And he drew a Rain Razors off the 3 of a kind, so he's arsenaled that to play out next turn.
Yeah.
That's really, that's the only card you're going to arsenal if you're worried about getting stuck, you know?
And he's coming back at it again with a lovely premeditate. A standard card in Lexi. I've always said it.
Now we're +5 on the first attack, which he's got the Endless in hand.
I wonder if he can sneak the Endless in at the end, though.
I was going to say, if he plays the Endless, it gets blocked out, right?
He really wants to try and get recursion going against a deck like this, Dory.
So we're going to load with the Voltaire. And we're going to load an Infecting Shot with go again. Coming in for 10.
Yeah, this is a great card to disguise the Endless here because Maximilian's really want to shut down this because it's basically representing 12 damage with the Blood Rot because he's probably going to have to block most of his cards this turn. And if you can get that Endless in at the end, that's going to be really big.
I also think that the Heat Seeker's not an inert card here either. No. So Maximilian can't block all of this. He's going to decide how important that Heat Seeker is to block. He's still got 4 equipment block left.
But I think Jason's going to use this Heat Seeker to try... Well, I think Jason's going to save this Heat Seeker. I think he's going to load the Endless.
And give it go again.
Give it... Then he's not going to have a resource floating if he does that. Heat Seeker costs 1, right?
It does.
So actually, this is an interesting one.
Interesting. We're going to see a 5 block.
Jason's incentivized to try and use all the cards in his hand so the Ponder gets value.
And then a Shunt.
Yeah.
Blocking all of it.
But now there's...
So that's an overblock. Left.
You can only shoot 1 more arrow. Yes, I think that might be right, Anthony. Unless he tries to... Yeah, I don't think he can.
He can only load
he can only load 1. So
once.
I think leave the Heat Seeker in. Just... Maybe Jason's thinking, do I go more? Do I actually risk losing the Endless here, maybe? No, he's got to do it.
No, I think he loads... But if he loads the Endless, yeah, he's going to have to load it with go again.
He could load it with +1 and come in for 7. And it's 2 cards and get a block. Yeah, that's exactly what he's done.
All right.
That's a good play. Because now it's probably only 2. It's probably only 6 block in hand, and he might force an equipment block here.
He might do.
Would you be tempted here to block with equipment to prevent the Endless hit?
No. Giving it back and letting him arsenal it is pretty
good.
Risky. He's not going to arsenal it though, is he? Because he's got the snaps. He can use the snaps out.
He'll get the Ponder, so he's going to get a choice. Oh no, it didn't hit.
So he doesn't get the Ponder.
No, he did get the Ponder. It's all throughout the entire turn. Yeah. Did the Endless not hit?
It did hit. He's chosen not to Ponder. I don't think it's a choice, but it doesn't matter. He knew he was endlessing the endless arrow. It did. He took 1 damage.
Okay, because there's an Endless in the grave, so I was a bit confused there.
Oh, I'm so confused. The endless.
Yeah, we may have missed the endless interaction. I'm not sure. But we're playing it out. We're just going to play the games. So reveals the ice card, puts down the frostbite, comes in and plays out the. Is that a ice quake? Yes. So +1 and a frostbite token whenever an attack hits a hero this turn. Is he playing grapplers, guys? Like, we've got a bit of.
We've got glare.
Studio, could you let us know what boots the Lexi player is? Yeah, it did hit, missed the trigger. That's a shame, but plays it out.
So we got ice quake into drill shot 5. Go again. I mean, he's going to get a -1 if this hits. 2-card block does seem reasonable, or he blocks with the Crown of Providence.
Shamir is saying it's perch, so if you can't make it out, it is perch.
He couldn't have fired the Heat Seeker. It cost 1. He didn't have any resources in hand. But I think he missed the. Sorry, he would have been able to do that had he had the Endless back in hand, but we missed that trigger. And there's no snaps.
So he does have a little bit of equipment block that he can use.
Now we're seeing an interesting hand with Maximilian here. He's got the spoils in hand, spoils of war. I think these are just all turning into 3-block cards now, though. I don't think there's.
I think Maximilian's got a plan. I think Max is going to block, working through these defense reactions, working through setting up. Man, you remember early in the game, he got hit with a red frost, with 3 frostbites. And he was able to set up a lot of powerful red cards at the bottom of his deck. So potentially he's got a plan there, going to work towards that. Though maybe then he's got a bit of a resource problem. Like Jason is, it looks like, wow, Jason, he's on 36 health. He's putting out all these arrows. He's just going ham, ham, ham. But Max has got a plan. He's going to block. He's going to run Jason out of good arrows. Jason's played 2 Rain Razors already.
2 Rain Razors. He's played 1 free of a kind. He's played 2 Codexes. His number of big threats or big turns is dwindling. I'm not saying it's not happening, but he's used a lot of the big red arrows already.
He just needs to make sure he's really careful with that last Rain Razors, because I think he has to use that to win the game. Yeah. Like people in the chat are saying, potentially using Perch for its hit, for its actual effect, but giving arrows go again and going really, really big.
Do you think it's there for that, or do you think it's there for the block?
I think it's there. I think it's there for both. I think it depends on the game plan. I think at the moment, Jason's in the driving seat. He could.
I can't disagree.
He could 3 of a kind, and he could have the resources to do some big turn with.
But I think Maximilian is blocking this well. He's taking damage where necessary, using his life as a resource, which I think is an underrated tactic.
Yeah.
He does now have the frostbite from that ice quake. Does last all turn.
So Jason decides to play out the Heat Seeker.
The Heat Seeker comes out.
That was his.
This is for 5.
Yeah.
We don't have enough resources to shunt again if needed because of that.
I've noticed that Maximilian has been pretty quick with his blocks, but he does take his time here, maybe thinking about what he wants to do with this last card.
Nice. He gets rid of the frostbite.
Yeah.
And blocks fully. So no card in arsenal for the Lexi.
But I think Maximilian was maybe thinking, do I want to get this sync in arsenal? But
I think that's a really well-blocked turn. I think that's a really good block.
We're seeing some fantastic blocking here from Maximilian. It's an underrated skill.
I am so enthralled by this matchup. I think this could still go either way. Just because there's a 10-point life difference, I don't think this match is anywhere near over. That missed trigger of the Endless Arrow could really come back to hurt Jason. We've seen the second Endless Arrow here. Mate, this might be the 3rd Endless Arrow, actually, because we saw one early, didn't we?
The important thing to remember is that I think Jason's still got 1 Codex left. So can bring back an Endless Arrow with Codex. But I think 2 of them have already been played. I think 1 was pitched on turn 1 of the game, actually, if I remember correctly. So that will come around quite late. A good card to pitch at the...
So this would be the 2nd in hand, then, potentially. We've got 1 more Codex. He can still go and find an Endless Arrow with Codex. We're seeing a Bolton shot loaded and fired.
Yep, giving it +1 so it gets the go again from its own effect rather than the go again from Voltaire, so coming in for 4. But so far we've seen Maximilian very, and here we see it again, very, can deal with these 4s very easily.
So Shamir has been kind enough to give us the information that he and Jason co-developed this list together. I think it's a really interesting Lexi list. You've obviously come with a plan for Big Axe Dory, and the Perch Grapplers are in there to stop the Big Axe turn.
Yeah.
We've already seen Maximilian pitch stacking useful cards for the end game second cycle. I think this is going to be a test of patience.
And fun fact, Simon, you may not know this, but about 70% of Jason's deck is actually my cards.
Oh.
So I lent him quite a few of these things because, so you see that New Horizons is mine, actually. New Horizons.
That is shiny.
That's my boy. Right there.
But I think we've already
That's
seen...
my shiny Endless Arrow right there as well.
We've already seen some cards that maybe had fallen out of favor with Lexi. So Icequake we haven't seen for a while.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to see. I wonder if we're going to see as many Winter's Bites as we previously saw, or even any lightning cards in there at all.
Yeah, I think Lightning is still a bit out of favor. I'd be interested to see if Jason's got any, sneaky Lightning presses. Maybe that's always an interesting choice with Lexi to sort of sneak a bit of extra damage in. We've not seen any yet. We kind of feel like maybe one would have been pitched. The trouble is trying to hide cards like Lightning
That's
Press. You
true.
don't want your opponent to know you've got them. You want to be able to sneak them in.
We have seen a couple more ice cards though. The Arctic Incarcerations are there. The Icequakes are there. During the last meta, we didn't see that many ice cards at all.
I think
like Icelander went to the
red
side.
Arctic Incarceration maybe, and that
the
would be
Winter's
it.
Bite.
Winter's Bite Blue is a pretty great card, to be fair. Yes, I think the other thing is that, like, even if you are running kind of like Lightning Press cards, is that something you run into this matchup where you're worried? I mean, we don't know what Jason knew, whether he knew Maximilian would be running Axe. He might have thought that he was on Dawnblade. And I don't think you want to run non-blocks into Dawnblade.
No.
You don't want to risk getting blown up.
And you want to limit the number of two blocks as well.
We see another Arctic come down here.
But Jason's set up with a 6-card hand. He's got a Falcon Wing.
Yeah.
And the Endless Arrow. That automatic go again on the Falcon Wing allows him the privilege of having a 3-arrow turn
And
next
Jason's
turn.
probably
Maybe
thinking,
4.
I've seen one 3 of a kind by now. Maybe I'm due another one to come around soon. Oh, well, that
big pitch. Oh, we see the chorus of Iron Song there being pitched. I think that's the card with Unity, right? That's
Yeah, it is,
the
yes.
Courage token on blocking with another card.
One resource floating here. I think we were just playing around those frostbites though, because again, Maximilian, sorting out his pitch stack here, just making sure that they've got something set up good. Because I think this has been. I don't know if I want to describe this as a cagey game, but it's been a very defensive game. Even on the side of Lexi, the Lexi's been, you see this big pop-up turn, and I think we're going to get a pop-up turn here too. Chinik's up, 6-card hand. This is going to be big. We're going to push through a bit of damage here, but Maximilian's got a card in Arsenal. He's got four cards to block with. Still got
I wonder if time on the round might be a concern here.
We still got 24 minutes. We're only halfway through this game, and you look at life totals sometimes, you think, oh god, this game's going to go off forever, and then something switches like that, and suddenly life gets deleted, and you're running out of health. Yeah, counting arrows. How many?
That is a big old chunk there.
When Jason's running all of these ice cards, they're not arrows.
They're not arrows.
So there is an opportunity cost there. And well, these frostbites have been having an effect on the Dory, but are they? Are they really? Like, I feel like Jason would much prefer to be getting to be pushing damage with arrows in this matchup rather than pushing frostbites.
I agree. But perspective is a hard thing on the camera, but it looks like the graveyard is already bigger than the deck, even accounting for that fact that it's got mini slabbed equipment underneath it. That deck does look like it's getting a bit thin already. Pitching a battering bolt there. Coming in with the Heat Seeker for 5 go again.
Jason has been putting some pretty decent cards back into the deck that he can do work with.
Yeah.
Battering Bolt, maybe not so much, but Heatseeker,
Well, the
Heatseeker in
Heatseeker.
deck is pretty good. He's got this Endless at the end, so Maximilian is going to be thinking, I need to shut down this Endless. So maybe he's going to take a bit of damage here so that he can... But then Jason could just not swing with the Endless. That's the trouble, right?
Yeah, it presents that problem. It's a really tricky decision. We know from experience that trying to block out this 5 and then another 4, you still got the Crown of Providence, but again, he maybe wants to save that for the big 3 of a kind turn that he knows coming. He's going to let him get the Heatseeker on hit effect, and then Jason has a decision. He's going to try and force the equipment block unless it's a Sync or a Fate.
It's a risky one.
I think Maximilian here either lets it go or blocks it fully.
Counting the deck.
So both players over halfway through their deck. Jason more towards the 2/3 figure.
And as Shamir points out in the comments, that this was an all-red hand from Jason, and he's pushed...
Still a 4-arrow turn.
And look at how much damage he's pushed just with all reds.
Tunic, pitcher Battering Bolt, pitcher Heatseeker.
That said, it's what, 9?
Oh,
there
here we go.
So a little bit awkward, but
Didn't get the value from... that's all you got, but not really expected to against Lexi.
So that was a 16 damage turn from Jason, but it was a 6-card hand.
Yeah.
Like, it actually is... That's pretty rough. And then the Heatseeker hits a Battering Bolt, which is a little bit awkward too, but I probably will be able to play that out, actually.
I think a Battering Bolt against Dory is actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, because of the
reactions. But again, he's just going to block it. Are we going to see a pitch stack appear for Jason?
He's going to need one.
Looking for the 3 of a kind Rain Razor's turn again. I don't think Maximilian is close to his pitch stack yet, but he has been blocking and drawing, so he may well be getting close to that as well.
Maximilian running a lot of these one-cost damage, one-cost blocks or one-cost damage prevention. I see on Oasis, we've seen a lot of Steel Blade shunts, and I guess if you're going to run a lot of them, because then you can pitch one card, prevent a lot of damage.
Correct.
You don't want one.
We're seeing another Ice Crate played out. It's a good tech getting that Frostbite mid-turn, especially when a player wants to play those defense reactions.
And here we see the 3 of a kind. What is Jason going to draw into? This is the thing. I see a Rain Razors.
He can't play it, though.
Doesn't have the arrows to play it. He's going to need to keep that Rain for next turn, I think.
Well, he can't play it with the 3 of a kind on the board.
Oh, yeah, sorry, of course. He's going to pitch it for the... he's going to pitch it, yeah. Well, like I said, he's going to keep it for next turn.
He could. No, you're absolutely right.
He's got it.
Hasn't got
a choice.
But he could pitch it. I mean, it's 2 valuable resources, but if he pitches it for next turn...
Well, he's got to think about his pitch stack.
It's going to come back around later, right?
Maybe...
No, he's pitching the Frostlock.
Frostlock there, yeah. We're seeing 77% people are going for Dory. And I think,
I think that's just a symptom of where Lexi's been in the meta recently.
It feels like Lexi is beating down the door, but it's not budging here. Like, a little bit of damage has broken through, but it feels like this Dory is in
nice
control.
play. Tunic really into nice Respite. Yeah. Get some life back. Fully block the infecting shot. We have seen a couple of CNCs used to block from Maximilian so far. I don't think he's hoping to have one of these CNCs around. I think he's well prepared.
And we just see this.
We're seeing
straight blocks here from Maximilian.
Another.
Knows what he wants to do, and just shuts down another 3 of a kind.
I think that might be another Oasis Respite that he's about to Arsenal as well.
I think so.
Really has mitigated the threats from Lexi well here. I think he's drawn reasonably
like we said
well.
At the start of the game, Simon, it feels like this Dory deck is built to kill Lexi.
It's a Lexi killer.
You've got to think that, right? Like, look at the way it's built, and I'm sure Maximilian's done a lot of games in the Lexi. It's going to be really tough for Jason. But we know Jason's still got good stuff in the deck. We know that he's got a lot of good arrows left. He's been pitching red arrows. He's been trying to work it back round. Maximilian's on 21 health. It's a lot of health.
It's a lot of health.
Does look like Dory might have this, but we've got still just under 20 minutes left in this game.
So far, we've seen Fate for Scene, we've seen a Sink Below, Steel Blade Shunt, 2 colours, and that all you've got. That's a huge number of defense reactions from the Dory, and we've seen Oasis Respite.
Yeah.
That's an extremely defensive deck.
It's I love it. I think it's fantastic. But as Nick Butcher was saying earlier in the chat, what's its game into Drumai?
What's his game into Drumai?
I don't want to talk about the next game, but you got to think about it. We saw the meta breakdown. Second most represented hero at the tournament,
48.
Dromai. But maybe Max has a plan. He's certainly got a plan for this game, and he is executing it incredibly well. Really, Jason's doing a great job. Like, maybe the pitch that didn't work out exactly how he intended, but he's been pushing damage. He's been doing a good job. He's been defensive. He's been playing well, but just not breaking through.
No, he's not had that big smash turn where everything's come together.
And you have to think, Simon.
Well, it did seem like that 3 of a kind and Rain Razors not coming in the same hand was a missed opportunity. He drew it first off the top with the 3 of a kind, and it was obviously stacked closely, but it wasn't quite there.
Yeah, it's like Anthony is saying in the chat, like maybe it didn't quite line up.
Another life back from the Oasis Respite, fully blocking the arrow that came in there. I think that's a good point, One Fruit, on the chat. It's a fatigue deck, of course, but it doesn't have the same level of ice disruption. The Dory doesn't have any card manipulation or resource manipulation that Oldham had. I think it's just filled the gap that Oldham has left.
It has.
It's not quite as effective.
It's interesting. I'm really interested to see how well Maximilian does today, because I think this deck looks really interesting. But I kind of think to myself, like, would I rather be playing Bravo? Like, just the way that Maximilian's playing, like, it feels very Bravo-like. It feels very Oldham-like.
It does.
It doesn't really feel Oldham-like because Oldham was such a different, doing different things with the disruption, like One Fruit was saying. Like, but, like, I'm really interested to see, and maybe if we get Maximilian on the interview, depending on how the game pans out, maybe he might be able to explain, like, why choose a deck like this rather than Bravo, for example, where we know Bravo is doing really well in the meta at the moment.
Yeah, and Tobias in the chat says actually Oldham wasn't a disruptive deck towards the end of his. He was just defensive. It was just fatigue.
Yeah,
mainly.
And the thing about Dory is that you can switch it at any point. He can keep 2 blues and he can go Axe if it hits, crack boots, Axe, right? Like, so
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, or play with the.
He could, but that costs 6 resources. So
it does, but that's a
deck is built for
that's
it.
That's a 2 blue. That's what he can do it once, but that's what Bravo does, right? Like, that's pushing 8 damage.
Yeah.
And
this deck is full of blues.
With a really difficult to block, you can't prevent all the damage. So thing is, once Jason gets low, it's going to be incredibly hard for him to
This
block.
is an interesting hand. We've got that Rain Razors in Arsenal. We've seen the Winter's Bite played out. We've seen the Ice Quake played out. Now we've got 3 of a kind. He can still play the Rain Razors from Arsenal. He can still play the Codex from Arsenal. Well, this could be the hand.
While we were chatting, Jason has constructed probably the perfect 3 of a kind turn here, right?
This, if he's drawn well,
he looks happy.
If he's drawn well, this could be the turn that swings the game, that turns the game on its head.
Happy, or does he look? Oh no, what have I drawn? Well, these are the 2 cards you can't normally play because you're in your hand, but he's got them in Arsenal, so he can play them out. But what has he drawn into? This is huge.
What has he drawn into?
Max has to. Yeah, this is.
I think I see an infecting shot. We're loading an arrow. Obviously, the Codex card that he puts back in Arsenal won't have go again, so he's going to have to use those arrows. Okay. But we are seeing Jason down to about 10 cards in deck. So if he doesn't swing the game on this turn, we're probably going to be looking at a Dory fatigue scenario.
This is the turn.
All right.
We've got a Frost Hex, which is
Frostlock.
Frostlock. Sorry, yeah.
Frost
Imagine
Hex is a different hero.
Frost Hex is a different card, but we've got a Frostlock here. It's just it's doing the job.
This is interesting because this stops Maximilian playing 0 cost cards. Whether that's does that include activated abilities and defense reactions?
You'll have to ask my good friend February for that one because I can't quite read it on the screen.
But he has been hit by the Frostlock. He's taking 3 damage.
Frostlock is hit.
The Bolton shot has go again. And then we're going to see...
He's drawn blues.
And then we're going to see
That's
the
why he was laughing. Did he just draw a bunch of blues?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Oh, it's not fused. Thanks, Shamir.
Yeah.
You're good.
It looks
just
like
the frostbite
so it looks like Jason
frostbite.
set up a really good turn here, but he just didn't draw.
Well, he didn't.
Cards.
He hasn't.
He
hasn't got them left. He's used the big cards.
This is all of his pitch cards. So
we've seen the Falcon Wings. We've seen the Endless Arrows. We've seen the Infecting Shots.
Yeah, Tobias.
We haven't seen any Remorseless, but I don't think that's an effective card against Orinthia, so it's probably not in the deck today.
We do see here the Unity block, so getting that Courage token.
Yeah, and we've got an Oasis still in Arsenal, maybe.
Oasis 2 resources.
Maximilian looking pretty stern there, looking pretty locked in.
Gets the Codex.
And there's the Codex. So this is going to be 3 damage. Free, not 3. 3 damage. Nothing left unless it's a defense reaction in Arsenal. He's gone for the Infecting Shot, trying to push through the Blood Rot Pox.
He's going to push through some damage here.
So this is 9 damage total. And a Frostbite.
But as we know, the Oasis is in Arsenal. So it's going to come through. Look at that turn, everyone. Look at what Jason did, and then just look at Maximilian's life total. It's just still healthy.
Yeah.
Still good. And that was it. That was the
big turn. That was the swing turn.
What can Jason do now? He's got no weapon. And he's playing against a hero with a great weapon.
Why can't he play the Oasis?
Cost 3 with the Frostbite and Frostlock effect.
Even though the Frostlock wasn't fused, the Frostlock effect.
Can now with the combat chain breaking, says Kiki. Hi, Kiki. We'll let you guys discuss it at home.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Because Kiki's saying because the Codex broke the chain, the Frostlock.
This turn or combat chain. Get February up, everyone. The Frostbite. So Jason.
Lexi Flip. Lexi Flip gives the Frostbite. Winter's Bite in Arsenal.
Gives the Frostbite.
We're gonna let chat sort that one out. I think it was a missed. I think it was a missed interaction. The second one we've seen from Jason this game, unfortunately, I missed the Endless Arrow hit trigger earlier. We've seen the Winter's Bite flipped. We've seen the Frostbite given. We're going to see... now we're down to blue. We've got blue Infecting Shot. We've got a red Sleep Dart.
And
happy to pay for that Winter's Bite.
Happy every day of the week with this.
And we've got an Oasis Respite in hand.
Yeah, so it looks like it was Frostlock was the whole turn. Unfortunately missed interaction, but that's the yeah, actually as Tobias just wrote in the comment, the missed Endless Trigger was That was pretty important for this game, but you got to keep track of those sort of things. That's what you got to do. With the
both
calling,
players are responsible for maintaining accurate game state,
it's
and
true, but
I'm not sure there's any. We're not going to say there's any nefarious intent with these plays. I think the missed endless trigger was quite an obvious one. The missed frostlock trigger, neither player probably knows the card as well as they should do, as evidenced by our inability to remember what the card does.
I knew exactly how that card. I just wanted to know if you knew.
Oh, I see. Just testing me. I failed the
We
test.
just want to chat to have some fun with that one. So, Jason.
It wouldn't be like us to goad the chat at all, would it?
No, not at
No,
all.
not at all.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's just misplays. Misplays happen. Maximilian just want to keep blocking quickly. Still 7 minutes on the clock.
I think we may have 3 or 4 cards left in Jason's deck.
Does need to close the game out, of course, but I imagine when Jason runs out of cards, he will just say that's that.
We're going to see a shunt block for... Oh, no. Okay. Just... Yeah, there's the shunt. Last big arrow's gone.
How many times have Max swung the axe this game?
4.
4 times, maybe? But doing the job.
I think Jason's maybe got 2 hands left. All blues now, pretty much.
He did pitch some reds, but I don't think I think they've now been played out.
Yeah, Jason's
There
just
we go.
conceded.
He's just going to concede there because he's run out of attacking cards. Max is a full deck, and he can just keep swinging that axe till the end of time.
So we have a Dory that's gone 2-0.
What an interesting deck. That was fantastic to watch. We've seen some really good games so far.
There were
What
two really good
What did you
games so
take of
far.
that deck? We're going to try and get Maximilian on the Maximilian on the interview because I would like to know. We've got some great questions in the chat already, like why Axe Story over Bolton? Why not Bravo? All these questions. Hopefully we'll get some answers to those because that seemed pretty good against Lexi, but as we were saying, what can it do against Dramai? What can it do against other heroes? What can it do against someone saying like Frostex or something, or like whatever? Like really, really interesting. So
I think it's obvious that Maximilian's come in with a plan to beat Lexi. It'd be interesting to see later on in the day how he's going to approach other heroes. Like Leviathan can kick out big chunks of damage.
yeah.
Briar obviously goes very wide, but he's dealt with Lexi, the supposed best deck in meta wide hero, like the big aggro hero.
Simon, I've always been saying that Lexi's no good. I know Simon's been saying it, but we'll see what happens. That was a really interesting matchup. Lots of people teched against Lexi, but maybe we'll see some more of that. I'm hoping we see Maximilian again, or we see another deck like that again. But for now, we're going to go back to the studio. Next game going to be coming at you very, very soon.
Thanks, guys.